Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 68. I'm joined by my esteemed colleague and good old buddy, good old Maurice. We're excited today. Revan is coming, and there's a lot to talk about, a lot of positives, a lot of negatives, everybody's all over the place. But how you doing, Maurice? Can you hear me? Maurice, we can see you, buddy. Okay. So Maurice is giving me the pointer finger.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I'm glad that you're finally, giving us a moment of your time, and you were able to fit us into your schedule this week.
I got some jokes.
Just kidding. So, what I was saying is, how you doing? First of all.
Pretty good, man. You?
Pretty good, pretty good. So I understand, there's this character coming to the game called Revan, and people are kind of excited about you not wearing a hat this week. Let's talk about that. Let's talk directly about the no hat situation. So, do you feel a little more comfortable? Do you feel kind of like a free bird right now, like you're just letting your hair down?
No, just we do these pretty late for me, man. So normally I'm half asleep and not looking at my best, but
Maurice, I want you to know that you always look your best, okay? And honestly, I think that the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes community, and especially the people on the stream here tonight, are starting to see how attractive you actually are. So I'm happy about the no hat situation, and let's clap for Maurice, and let's hope that he doesn't wear a hat again. Let's put that hat away forever. But no, seriously, I want to kind of dive into what's been going on with Revan and what we got information-wise this week for the upcoming events. So it has been determined that it's going to be a hero's journey. And
an ancient journey, right?
An ancient journey, yes. So what are your thoughts about the ancient journey and the requirements for 7-star, and everybody's kind of in a tizzy about this. There's some people that are upset about it. Some people, kind of, are saying that it's the right thing to do. I mean, I'm getting kind of a little bit of feedback on both ends of it. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I can understand the outrage, given the popularity of the character itself, right? I wasn't really surprised, nor did it really upset me or really excite me. I read it and I was like, oh, I wasn't surprised, and I really had no emotion about it whatsoever. People are like, it's a cash grab, it's a cash grab. Yes, it sure is a cash grab, but I mean, this is a freemium model game, right? And a lot of people, I think emotion really took over the first 2-3 days, but I think now that people have calmed down a little bit, they realize this is happening, and they're really starting to look into it. It's by no means the most expensive character we've ever had in the game. I mean, this is, even if you're really ill prepared for it, it's expensive, but if you're ill prepared for it, you're talking about the same price as a marquee character, right? Roughly.
Right.
Which is expensive, yes, but this is a top shelf character, hopefully, but he'll be back. He will be back in 4 months. There are 165, 170 other characters in this game that you can use for the next 4 months.
Right.
Probably your Traya team. You can probably still make your Traya team work. I mean, only time will tell, but there is going to be a counter to Revan, and chances are the majority of the player base has it. Even if it's not Traya. We just had Chewie. Chewie could be a counter. We have Traya. Traya could be a counter. We have Rex. Rex could be a counter. There's something in everyone's inventory that will allow them to remain competitive.
Right.
So
just to kind of go over the notes here, I mean, I know that, again, this kind of happened on October 9th, so this was just like literally a day after or 2 days after our live show last week. So this information's been out for a little while here, but they released these bundles for Bastila and Jolie, then a separate bundle for Mission Val and Zalbar, and then a separate pack just for T3. And then they have these $6.99 crystal packs that they released, which I have to say, in my journey so far for the characters, has been a pretty good place to get it. I actually was looking at that, and I realized that. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the account here. So where I'm at right now, you can see here. I mean, I have. Sorry, it's going to reopen up here.
Well, Smoke makes a good point here too. If you do take the plunge, get these packs you're talking about, refresh your guys, however you're going about it, you are getting 6 7-star characters. Arguably, all of them are, A-ish tier, maybe with the exception of T3. Jolie and T3 are kind of, I don't want to say redundant, but there are other characters in the game that can serve the purpose that they have. But I mean, at the very least, you're talking Bastila, Zalbar, Mission, I think are all top shelf characters that you're getting. So I'm not trying to advocate or endorse or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's not as bad as the community thought it was initially. People were talking about it's going to cost thousands of dollars. No, it's not.
Right.
You could have completely missed the entire marquee event, and it's probably not going to cost you $1,000. That's a little steep, but.
Well, I think that part of the frustration here is not really just with the cost of the characters or having to get the characters to 7 stars. I think the main cause of frustration here is that it's being basically launched so close to what's happened with the previous events. So, I mean, basically we just had the Chewie event, and then now we're getting this one so close to the other one. So, I mean, I think that's mainly the reason that people are complaining here. But,
well, just again, the vast majority of the player base is not going to be able to get it. And so, yeah, I mean, these people, I mean, if you guys are in the chat and you're not going to get them, I mean, you watch YouTube because you enjoy the game, and chances are somebody on YouTube is going to have something for you, on what to do, how to beat it. Don't freak out. You know, if you have feedback, you can give feedback. Just try to give it constructively on the forums, on Reddit, you know, even on the comments of these YouTube videos, whatever the case may be. I mean, there are ways to reach out. Will it do good? I don't know, but you know, if you want to get upset about it, then at least, you know, share your constructive feedback with CG, right? So, I mean, let them know this is, you know, unacceptable, whatever the case may, or whatever your feelings are, even if you feel like it's a good event. I mean, this the first time, if you are going to spend money on this character, you're getting a little value for your money. Because, I mean, at this point, I mean, getting all these marquee characters, they really haven't done you much good, right? You haven't really had a significant advantage with these characters. You might have one extra TW or TB team. You know, you might have been able to use Bosk or Boba or Django for Chewie, but you could do it without them. You know, I mean, just you have Aura Singh, I guess. If anybody about Aura Singh, you got a good P3 team. But I mean, really, the benefit of purchasing these things have been minimal. So, I don't know.
So what I'm saying is that the main thing I think is that, like, you know, people were farming characters like Bosk to try to beat the Chewie event, and they stopped farming characters like Zalbar and Mission Vow and characters like that, and that kind of threw them off for this event. So I understand that being frustrating, and don't get me wrong, I think no matter what, when this character came out, there were going to be some people that were behind the 8 ball, and then some people that were ready for it. If you're somebody that's been farming the KOTOR characters for months now because you kind of knew this event was coming at some point and you wanted to be prepared for it, then you're going to be in a little bit of a better place than other people, and you're going to probably be spending a little bit less money now if you are intending on spending money to get the character. But the $6.99 packs have actually been a pretty decent value. When I was buying them, I was able to get you know, Zalbar and Jolie to 7 stars for almost under $100, and I know, again, you know, we're talking about $100 here for you know, mobile game characters.
It's high. That's a lot.
You guys, really, the music is that loud?
Hold on, let me listen. I'll listen to it for a second.
I mean, I'm hearing like a lot of people complain about the music. I think the music's pretty low, but I mean, if that's what it is, and I get it.
No, it sounds fine, man.
All right, so anyway, yeah, no, what I'm saying is that as far as that goes, I think that okay, yeah, no, if the music is bothering you guys, sorry, I just want to have some background going on while we're talking, but either way, you know, I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, some 90s hip-hop. We'll play some Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah.
You know, we'll break out some Linkin Park or something like that. Now, this just kind of flows a little bit with the gaming style. I mean, you know, the little bit of techno and stuff like that. I'm more of a rocker myself, to be honest with you. I listen to more like, you know, like heavy metal music. So I mean, this is like not really my my type. But Bieber, please, right? Yeah, no. So okay, obviously now, because we've been talking about it forever, the music is just distracting. So I'm just gonna lower it now, and yeah. maybe we'll talk. Maybe we'll revisit the music again later. But anyway, so let's talk about these characters. So I think that yes, you're going to be probably spending you know, a little bit more than you'd like to. You know, of course, everybody would like to see a game or a character come for $20, $30, $40, which, to be honest with you, would be like a reasonable price for a piece of digital content. But that just isn't in line with what the cost is for characters in all other mobile games. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I play a game, Power Rangers, and in that game, you know, I still don't have one maxed out character yet. Not one. Okay? And people spend thousands and thousands of dollars in that game to get one character leveled up to max. I mean, there's only a few guys in the game that have maxed out characters. It's like really rare to get there in that game. And again, I'm not somebody I haven't played, Clash of Clans, or I don't know what the pay scale is in some of these other games, but I can tell you that it's definitely in line cost-wise with what some of these games charge for characters and gear, etc. And honestly, this game is probably the most free-to-play friendly game that I've ever seen in my life. So, you have the ability to do everything in this game, for nothing. So, I mean, you can pay not $1 in this game and have a ton of different factions. I mean, you can have a Sith team, you can have a Jedi team, you can have a Scoundrel team, you can have a Droid team. You could do anything that you want and, go after the characters that you desire. They're all in farmable locations. And, as far as that's concerned, I mean, there's a ton of characters in this game that a lot of people that, are talking about not having Revan probably don't have yet. I mean, because if you are free to play, that you're probably still chasing after some of these hard-node characters. And I think that it's good to be patient, because if you're somebody who is free to play, you don't want to make quick adjustments on a dime anyway. You want to kind of make smart decisions over time, and it depends. But what I was saying in my video earlier today that I posted, and what I'm trying to say now, is that if you are a person that does occasionally spend some money, and you're looking for a value purchase, because, I mean, again, in this game, all these purchases are going to be somewhat expensive. But if you're looking for a purchase where you're getting a lot of value from it because you're getting the most in comparison to what you would be getting for purchases or other type purchases or similar type purchases in this game, then this is one of them. Because when you're buying a marquee character, you're spending almost the same amount, but you're getting 6 characters here. You're getting 5 Old Republic characters, 5 awesome characters. Jolee and Bastila are great, Zalbar Mission are great, and T3 will be great. And you're also getting Revan. So, I mean, I think that in that sense, it makes sense. It's just, I get that not everybody's prepared to suddenly, because some people spent some money on, the Chewie event. Some people spent some money to get, let's say, Bosk done for the Chewie event, and now suddenly a week later, we're looking at spending more money. So, I mean, I understand that if you were, not prepared for that, then this could be a surprise to you, and now you're not prepared to spend the money that you just spent last week, and had you known that Revan was coming this week, you wouldn't have spent that money on Chewie. And I get that, okay? Don't get me wrong. I was in a similar situation. I mean, I really, really hardcore contemplated buying Jango Fett. I wanted Jango Fett. I mean, when Jango Fett was coming to the game, I said to myself, I'm getting Jango Fett. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, that's a character I've always wanted. He's finally coming into the game, and, he's been released as a marquee character instead of a legendary like we all thought he would be. So, I mean, I didn't see Revan coming anytime soon. I figured if anything, it's probably going to be like in, November, December, because they were going to, I figured it would follow suit. Like, we'd have some time to farm these characters because Zalbar and Mission had just been released free to play. So I thought to myself, like, I can buy Jango and then go forward. I decided not to. Okay, I decided to hold off on buying Jango, and I'm glad I did. Because now I'm in a situation where if I had spent that $300 to get Jango, I would not be spending this money now to get Revan. So I mean, I'm kind of glad I held off, but I do understand the frustration. It's one of those things where in this game, because of the nature of it, because making sure that they're not giving as much notice as possible is to the benefit of the studio. That's always going to be the case. So they're never going to tell you, like, 5 months in advance, like, farm your KOTOR characters because Revan is coming. But they are going to hint at it. And that's kind of what they've done all along. I mean, they've said in little posts and little winky faces and, comments on the forums and, things all over the place. I mean, when the KOTOR characters came out, when there were 5 characters that were released at the same time from Knights of the Old Republic, you had to say to yourself, why are there 5 characters from Knights of the Old Republic being released at the same exact time? The only reason that could possibly be is because they're going to be part of some sort of event. So, I mean, I knew right off the bat when I saw that. I mean, I didn't know because I was a game changer. I just knew because I'm smart that when I saw that there's definitely going to be something that's tied to all these characters, and it's probably going to be something that is awesome. Like, so whether it's Revan or Malik or somebody from the Old Republic, it's going to be a great character. So I want to put. You know, I made a video about this. I said I'm going to put my eggs in that basket and start farming these characters. And I got a little bit of a head start on Bastila and Jolie. But listen, all of us got Zalbar and Mission Vow a week ago, and we were farming, you know, scoundrels to try to get the Chewie event done. So there's a lot of people that are in the same. Right, the Bounty Hunter Rush. Yeah, so a lot of people were in the same boat. I mean, we're all, like, a week or two ago just farming Bounty Hunters to get them ready for the event. So I get it. I have a 6-star Chewie. My Chewie sucks. Let's take a look at it.
He might, I mean, you got a 6-star, you can't use him in a raid, but he doesn't suck. But you know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world. Like, you will get your 7-star Chewie the next time it comes around.
I will get Chewie the next time he comes around. Next time he comes around, I'm gonna have Embo. I'm gonna have Jango Fett, and I'm gonna have Bosk. Okay, and I'm gonna have the awesome bounty hunter team, and I'm gonna beat that event like crazy. But yeah, so I mean, I have Chewie here, and you know, I only got him to 6 stars. I didn't even put any time into him. I mean, because I knew that, you know, again, this is a character I'm probably going to use a little bit, but not much. And you know, at 6 stars, he's still viable at all. You know, at where he is. I mean, I think he's going to be good enough for me in the time, you know, for the time being until the event comes back. And I'm sure, you know, we'll get the Chewbacca event back sometime in the beginning of next year. So I'm going to wait until then to get him to 7 stars. But Revan was a character that I did not want to wait on. So I decided, instead of, you know, because I was thinking about, listen, I really thought at the last day of the Chewie event, let me buy you know, Jango Fett, and then I'll be ready to get Chewie 7 stars before the event is over. And when it got to like the last day, I really thought about it, but I decided not to. But that's how this game is supposed to be. I mean, you're supposed to they're supposed to try to get you to buy stuff by giving you timetables and, you know, giving you basically a sort of window where you can buy something that will give you a benefit, and you have to determine whether that benefit makes sense for you or not. If they didn't do stuff like that, then there'd be no reason to ever spend money in the game, and then the game wouldn't exist. So, you know, none of us would have the benefit of playing this if there weren't people that were buying this stuff. But you have to look at, you know, both sides of the coin. So, I mean, I get the frustration, and believe me, I think that I was surprised just as much as you guys were that they decided to throw this event at us right after a legendary event, and that, you know, Chewie is, you know, Chewie was basically thrown at us almost, you know, for free, in the sense that, you know, they gave us, you know, bounty hunters, but it was so hard that people spent a lot of, you know, resources to try to get their bounty hunters ready for that event, and then now we're getting you know, Revan so close right after that, and I get it. I mean, it's kind of a surprise, and it's kind of shocking, and again, I would be upset too if I was in a situation where I just spent a whole bunch of my resources on that, and now I don't have the resources to get the character that I really wanted, Revan, because I didn't know he was coming. But listen, ultimately, the character is going to come back, and when he does, you'll have all the characters ready, 7 stars, and you know, you have time to get them prepared. And when you do that, because this event is involving 5 characters that happen to actually be awesome characters, Mission Vow, Zalbar, Jolie, Bastila, you're going to get 4 or 5 great characters that you can use in other areas of the game besides Revan whenever you get them. So there's a lot of value there, and I think that, you know, if there ever was an awesome 5 for a legendary event, this is the best 5 I've seen so far. You know, besides, of course, maybe, you know, CLS's event where you had to have, like, you know, Leia and Han, and I mean, I don't know. I'm saying I still think this is probably better. So this is a really good 5. So I think that you're getting it better that way. You're getting a benefit by having it be these characters rather than having to be, you know, I mean, listen, we had to farm Phoenix for
the pre-rework Phoenix. Those characters were not good. They were not good.
You had to farm Phoenix for Thrawn. So let's see here. you had to farm First Order for, what was it, BB-8?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, some of these characters are great, but some of them are not that fantastic. I mean, First Order is good for TW, so there's value there. But I would argue to say that this is probably the best 5 that you've ever had to get that gives you some sort of value. And they're all like relatively new characters, so you're going to be leveling up these characters, for a purpose, and you're getting value for them afterwards because you're going to be using Zalbar and Mission Vow afterwards as well. So that's what I think. But hey, listen, I mean, everybody has their own opinion. I understand that some people don't necessarily like these characters. They didn't play KOTOR, so they're not really big, huge fans of this. And if that's the case, then, there's lots of other factions in the game that are really cool. We just got a whole bunch of new scoundrels in the game that you could farm. Aura Singh is going to be farmable pretty soon, I'm sure. Is she already farmable? She's not on a node yet, right?
I think she's in the shipments. I don't think she's been no. She hasn't been released to free to play farmable. No.
So Aura Singh's going to be free to play soon. We're definitely getting Django.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Django Fett is going to be free to play soon. I mean, we're looking at.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see where they put him, because he's one I definitely want to get.
I'm getting Django Fett right away. And when those characters come out, I mean, I'm going for Embo's coming real soon. Embo's definitely coming soon. So, I'm gonna.
Oh, Embo would probably be in another week or two.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm gonna farm Embo. I'm gonna farm Django. There's lots of other stuff to work on right now that is awesome. And this is the year of the scoundrel. This is the year of the bounty hunters. So I mean, there's a lot of other stuff to work on, and. Revan will be cool. Don't get me wrong, but I think that you're probably looking at a holiday season, and then once that's done, it'll probably be back. So they're going to want to capitalize on that, and then we also have lots of other stuff coming. Bear in mind, I'm sure before the end of the year, just like they always do, they're going to drop some sort of a game mode on us here in November, December. There's definitely going to be something that happens, whether it's another territory battles, another territory wars, something. Something guild related. I mean, who knows? But they're going to drop another event here on us pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. So whenever that happens, that'll just be another thing for us to do and another thing for us to farm in the game, and that will cause another type of characters that we have to farm, and it'll change our game plan and things that we're doing. And then we'll get into, the Houndstooth will be coming out as farmable as well. So there's lots of stuff that's going to be going on here. And I think that over the next couple of months, after the holidays, who knows? I mean, maybe getting Jedi Revan will be just a portion of it. Maybe next year we get, Darth Malak, let's say, will be the next KOTOR. They're going to release another KOTOR character next year. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. So they always do it around February, March. We get another Sith. So
it's just there's gonna constantly be new shiny things, right? The game is different than it was 2 years ago when we were just sat here in a lull of content. The new game, I mean, every week we're gonna have something, marquee characters, legendary characters, ancient journey characters, a new TB, a new TW, a new game mode, a new raid. There's constantly going to be new characters week in and week out. So unless you spend heavily in the game, you simply cannot keep up with it. So all you have to do is you look at it and you're like, oh, those are cool, and just keep working on what you're working on. You have to stay focused. If you're working on your P1, P2, if you're working on your Sith heroic teams, this event, and you have no chance of getting Revan, this event affects you none. Like, it doesn't change your course whatsoever. Like, you can look at it, you can watch the videos on Revan, but if you don't have a chance to get Revan, just maybe finish your A teams, finish your TW teams, whatever you're working on, and then slowly incorporate these characters into your farming routine so you can have them ready for the next time. Just so much going on in the game. You can't be distracted by the new stuff. If you do not spend heavily into the game, you're not going to have it all. And that's fine. There's plenty of stuff in this game to play with, plenty of stuff to do. There's so many characters. Like, if you can't get one character, for a few months, I mean, you're going to be fine. There are people that get first place in Arena every day without Traya. You know, they're for people without Chewy. You know, there are people that do it week in and week out.
And there's people buying Shore Trooper shards for 640 crystals in the shipments. Okay? I wish I really should buy these Houndstooth shards. I mean, Houndstooth is where it's at for ships, guys. Okay? The Houndstooth is where it's at. Okay? So, you should definitely get that. I mean, there's people buying Veteran Smuggler Chewbacca shards out of the shipments and Logray shards for 320 crystals. You know? So, I mean, I don't know why they sell this stuff still. I still wonder to myself all the time. Like, I mean, like, who's buying First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot shards out of the shipments for 640 crystals? If you're doing that, you should stop playing the game.
Well, there are certain traps, I guess, in this game for newer players. Like if you're a new player, and this BB-8 event's going on, I think right now, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, so you're like, ooh, I really like BB-8. He's my favorite character in the Star Wars franchise. You see that First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot shard, you're like, yes.
If you're buying 3 Biston shards for 150 crystals out of the shipments, you should stop playing the game today. Okay.
Wait, you know what? Speaking of that, they have not converted like characters, because you know the 320, you know, the 80 shards per character shard, or 80 crystals per shard, is supposed to be for the newer characters. And these down here are, it's 50 crystals for a shard. I remember they put bays, and like the Rogue One, they converted from the 80 to the 50, but they haven't done any of them since. Well, there are some old characters up here in these 80, you know, Director Krennic, you know, Shore Trooper. When these are characters that have been out a long, long time. They're still 80 shards a pop. But Director Krennic. Don't ever buy Director Krennic for out of the shipments. Don't ever do that.
Don't buy sim tickets out of the shipments, please.
No.
Friends don't let friends buy sim tickets.
Yeah.
What are the pack odds? Okay, I don't know the pack odds specifically, but they're posted online. If you want to go to the pack itself, you can actually get the odds right there. But what I do know is that what I got was when I bought the packs, I was able to get about 350 pulls throughout the entire thing. Never anything more than that. Okay, but a lot of times I got more than 10, so I was able to get 15, 12, you know, a little bit more than 10, and 10 is higher than you're typically going to get from a typical marquee pack. Right, so from a marquee pack, you're usually going to get between, it's 5 to 330 shards?
Yeah.
For a marquee pack. So the 10 that you're getting automatically for the $6.99 is more than your typical marquee pack, and you have a chance to get any of the 5 characters. So that can actually work to your detriment, though, when you get to getting the characters close to 7 stars. So, you know, what ended up happening to me is a few times when I pulled the packs, I already had Bastila at 7 stars, and I pulled more Bastila shards. So it's like you're pulling shards that you don't need anymore, and you're just adding to the shard shop, which is it's going to happen when you're you know, buying packs for characters in a bundle like that. But what was cool about it was I occasionally got, like, you know, a couple of 50 drops for like Jolie. I got a lot of Zalbar. Like, I got a lot of Zalbar, like 15 shard drops, and that kind of set me in the right direction with Zalbar. So you can see I got Zalbar to 7 stars, and that was mainly due to the lucky drops I got for him. So you know, it's going to be different for everybody, and some people are going to get more luck than others. I didn't have any luck with T3. T3 I got you know, a few times, and I ended up having to buy the T3 individual pack to get the 50 shards for T3, and then you know, I just been farming T3 from the nodes. I mean, I'm actually almost done with Zalbar now, so I decided to work on her because my Zalbar is at now 4 shards away from 7 stars. So then I'll just need to finish up T3 and I'll be done. So I need, I believe, 38 more T3 shards or something like that, and I need 4 more Zalbar shards and I'll be done. And I have Jolie and Bastila at gear 12, and then my Zalbar is gear 10, my mission is gear 8, and my T3 is gear 9. So I'm hoping to have them all at a minimum, at least mission at a minimum of gear 9 by the time the event starts, and that should be enough to get it done. But we'll see. Where are you at, buddy?
Doing pretty good, keeping pace. I can't look right now. I'm autoing this assault battle, but pretty close. I'm by no means gonna be able to get him day one. I'm gonna be pushing it. You know, I'm gonna be pushing it to the limit. I did as I bought some of those 699 packs as well. And this, I think I bought 13 in total. But those packs. Now, I'm not endorsing the purchase of these packs. But if you do, I didn't have any of those characters to 7-star. So, and they're still not a good value. I think someone did the math. I saw a chart. It's about 47 crystals a shard for the characters in those packs, which is not good. But it's an efficient way to panic farm or be irresponsible with your crystals. It's the most efficient way to be irresponsible, I guess.
Right,
is a way to put it. But I bought some of those. I did get lucky on one of them, but for the most part, you can't bank on being lucky. And as far as those, the $15 packs and the packs that give the Jolie and Bastila 50, T3 50, I wouldn't buy those until the very, very end. Because what would suck is if you buy those now and then you end up coming short anyway. You know, that is not. That's not something you want to do, because if you're going to come up short anyway, just, you know, you could get 50 shards in the next 4 months for those characters.
Right. Right. It doesn't make sense to do it now and then not come up short anyway. No, I get that. But it's it really depends. I mean, you definitely want to wait on those 50 shard packs and just kind of see where you get with the 699 packs first, if you are going to be doing that. And then if you get to, let's say, a point where you know that 50 shard pack will get you over the hump, then you want to make that investment. It's always been wait with those bundles until you're done farming the shards. So like when you get to the day of the event or the day before the event when you're going to go for it, then you can make that decision like, okay, do I need these 50 shards or not? Because obviously cost-wise, you're getting the least value out of those bundles for the shards versus farming them individually. But I mean, again, $29 if you don't already, let's say you don't have 7-star Zalbar and you don't have a 7-star mission Val, but you're close. Like let's say that that'll get you to like 75 of 100 for Zalbar, and it'll get you to around the same for mission Val, and then you'll just need 25 of each before the end of the event. And that's a different story. That's a situation where it makes some sense to spend that $30 and get yourself a little bit closer. But again, you're talking about $30. Okay, that could be dinner, that could be gas in your car for a couple of days, that could be a lot of different things. So everybody's got different, different spending limits, different needs. But for me, I thought that it made sense. Somebody asked me a question here. For me, I thought...
no, there's a lot of people. A lot of people are talking about the math and stuff. Again, these 699 packs are inefficient. I don't know. Just the panic puts a different value on things, I guess.
Right.
I mean, even if you're... It's going to be impossible to get Revan without spending crystals, right? Whether you purchase them, whether you're incredibly savvy with your daily income and you can, you stockpile crystals, it's going to cost you crystals. There's no free way around it besides waiting. If you don't want to spend your crystals, that's fine. You're going to be fine. The game is not going to break. I mean, it may get a little broken, but it's not going to break the whole way from one character. I mean, just 4 to 6 months. And again, I mean, the outrage, the way this was released. Again, if you guys, hit the forums, be constructive with your criticism, and you really try to give good feedback, they could always bring the event back sooner than maybe the typical cadence. If there's just a huge outcry, who knows?
That's an important thing that Maurice mentioned there, is to be constructive with your criticism. Okay, bear in mind, these guys hear a lot of belligerent negative comments on the forums, and if you really want to get a message to them, they do read the forums. They do care more than any other game I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there are games where people go to the forums and they just hate on the game. They don't even look at the forums. They don't care what people say. It's just whatever they're going to do. They don't care what it is, and that's it. But in Why Don't I Sim in Threes? Because I think that's just superstitious.
Well, the event's not changing, right? It's highly unlikely that the event date is going to change. The requirements are going to change. That those are probably, I mean, don't quote, I mean, I'm not 100%, I don't know, but I would imagine those are set pretty much in stone, right? So all you can do is share your opinion. And again, maybe in the future they include a new character. Maybe they give HK47 an Old Republic tag, like Loki mentioned the other night on that RSG stream. That was a great suggestion. Maybe ease the burden of the farming by including some other characters with the tag. Maybe they bring the event back sooner if you guys, really, really get, just you can just voice your input, I guess.
Yeah.
If it doesn't do any good, it doesn't do any good. And the character comes out on normal cadence, right? Who knows? Maybe if everyone gets super upset and they post and post and post and post and post, then maybe we get another shot at them a month early. It's not great, but it's not the end. It's better than what I don't know. It's going to be okay, guys. I promise.
It's going to be okay, guys.
I'm just rambling now, but
everybody's going to be okay. But we're all in the same boat here. I mean, everybody wants to get the character. The thing is that it's one of those things where in some cases it just doesn't make sense. And if you're talking about spending money that you could be going towards your mortgage payments or your rent or things like that, then there's no question that this doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? But if it's something where it's done responsibly and you have the income, and on top of that, it's something that you think would make you enjoy your purchase more, and you're this is like your hobby, and you don't really spend much money on other hobbies, then why not? I mean, I get it, but again, it's one of those things where you also got to look at how much your cost is or how much you spend in this game, and say to yourself, like, if you're somebody that doesn't really spend that much, and you do spend money, you're not free to play, but you do spend a little money, and you see that typically, if you're buying a marquee character, like anybody who bought Houndstooth or, the Xanadu Blood, they spent $300 to $350. You could get Revan for less. I think in that sense, if you're somebody who does spend money already, this makes sense. It's a no-brainer. But if you're in a situation where, like I said, I haven't bought a character since Mother Talzin, and that's because the way she was released, they had told us that she was going to be only available in this one event periodically, and that would be the only way you'd be able to get her to 7 stars if you didn't buy these packs. So I thought to myself, like, man, okay, it's either wait a year to get Mother Talzin to 7 stars because this event's probably not going to show up every week, or buy her now out of these packs. So, I bought her out of the packs. And, what ended up happening? They ended up just saying, oh, well, forget it. We're just going to put her, we're going to make her like a marquee character. And that's basically what they did. They just put her in a node. Okay, and they still have the event coming back periodically, and you can get Zetas out of it, which is cool. So I'm glad I have a 7-star. And I've had that for a while now, so I was able to get the Zetas as a benefit. But again, had they not said that this was going to be the only way to get her, I probably would have waited. And before that, I bought Nihilus because I love Darth Nihilus. I'm a fan of KOTOR. I just bought KOTOR on my mobile device so I can play it again. Okay, I want to play it on my phone now because I'm in the mood because of all this Revan stuff that's going on. I just decided, listen, I want to play KOTOR again. So I bought it on the on the on my Google Play Store.
Earl said, "I got a refund from Towson." You know what? That was a case where you could make a legitimate claim that for a refund.
You really could make a legitimate claim.
Yeah,
On that.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
That was
That was kind of false advertising. Yeah, I mean, they kind of said like, "Hey, listen, you can only get Towson this way," and then all of a sudden, Towson was available for everybody. But listen, that could happen here. They could say, Revan tomorrow. The only way to get him is 7-star Zalbar, and then in December the event comes back, and everybody who didn't get him gets him again. That could happen, and those people that made the investment now, could be could be upset about it. You know what I'm saying? So no matter which way you go about it, you make him specifically for pay to play, you make him for free to play, you make him for everybody. There's always going to be a faction of the people that don't like the way that the character was released and the way that it was handled. And there's nothing you could do about that. I mean, I made a video today kind of explaining my thoughts about this and why I thought that there was value in comparison to other purchases that people have made in this game or other purchases that have been available in this game. And I still got hate for that, because there's people that just don't see it my way, and no matter how much I explain it or how I see it or even how open-minded I am to other people's opinions, they're still going to look at it like I'm wrong and they're right. And that's just how people are sometimes, and there's no way that you're going to be able to convince them otherwise. So sometimes it's best to just share your thoughts and be honest and open-minded, and then just kind of accept the fact that no matter what happens or no matter how this plays out, that there are going to be some people that are disappointed about the outcome. And that's how the developers have to look at it. I mean, they're never going to release a character or sell something in the game at a high cost where people are going to be super thrilled about it.
Well, if you're a free-to-play player and you haven't hoarded crystals, you're not going to get Revan. But does not mean you cannot get him the next time. And if you're free-to-play or, casual, whatever you want to label yourself as, you don't have the resources to invest in characters willy-nilly anyway. So use the next 4 or 6 months, really take note of who is using Revan, what you think is the most effective team for Revan, and then you can just invest your resources into 4 characters instead of just like maybe doing, maybe somebody comes out with Revan the first week, is like, oh, this team can beat Traya, and you see that team. And instead of like just going right for that team right away, you can sit back, because you don't have Revan anyway, and kind of see what evolves and what the actual best team is, because that takes a couple, 3 months. What Revan or I might put out the first week that Revan's out is by no means going to be the absolute best team 3-4 months from now. So I mean, you get a chance to really see which characters go with Revan the best, and you can invest in those 4 characters only instead of gambling on this character, gambling on Jolie, gambling on Mission, or some other obscure Jedi like Eth Koth, or something like. You'll be in good shape to when you get Revan. You'll have the gear ready for Revan. You'll have the Zeta ready for Revan. You'll have the team ready. And you just put it all in there. You put it right in day one in Arena when you get Revan, 4, 6, hopefully sooner months from now. So,
yes, and that's another huge benefit of waiting is you will have, you'll have the ability to make better decisions with the characters that you farm around him, and having the gear prepared, because you'll know now, okay, it's been about 5 months, Revan's coming back soon, I better start hoarding gear, I better start hoarding Zetas, and you'll be prepared for that. Now, I, again, was preparing for this for a while, so I have been hoarding Zetas for a long time. I have 60 Zetas saved just for this, okay, because I knew that something was coming down the pipe at some point, and I just wasn't going to be caught with no Zetas in my bank, so I've constantly been making sure that when I buy a Zeta, I still have 3 Zetas left to use at any time. Now, I was thinking to myself, like, I might need to use some, like, I had even, like, anybody who watched that stream when I was trying to get Chewie saw that I contemplated using some of those Zetas on, like, Dengar and some stupid ideas, what I'm saying? I'm glad I didn't, because, now I have them for Revan, but, that's something that you gotta. That's the benefit you get when you're kind of planning for the future, because I mean, this event isn't going to take long. It's definitely coming back within 6 months. So, if you get yourself prepared for it, you have the right pieces around, you'll know that, let's say, for example, Zalbar and Mission are the best characters to have around Revan, or, maybe HK-47 is the best character to have around Revan, and whatever characters are the staples at that time, you can start to work on them and get everything prepared so that when you do unlock Revan, you're ready to jump right in with the best team and go right for the meta. But that's just my thoughts on it. I mean, so I have, like I said here, I haven't put a Zeta on Zalbar yet, but I have 60 Zetas right now. So when the event drops, I should be able to stick, the three. Typically, the legendary the hero's journey characters have 3 Zetas. CLS had 3 Zetas, Ray Jedi Training had 3 Zetas. So I'm assuming that Revan will have 3 Zetas as well. So whenever that drops, I'll have the ability to put all the Zetas on him right away. So I'll be prepared for that. Excited. But let's do our top 5 for this week. So diving in here, we're going to look at the meta report first, and then we'll do the top 5. So Darth Traya, again, we don't want to have to harp too much on this meta report because not much has changed. The only difference I see here is Jango Fett is at the bottom there, which has to represent a really significantly low portion of the player base. That has to be 3-star or 4-star Jango Fetts, maybe in the early stage of the game, right? I mean, that's...
I bet Jango Fett is just super OP, like a new shard. Like, let's say you sign up for the game and Jango Fett's journey is there right away.
Right.
That's like the first character you can get.
Right.
Just pure luck. Like the first month you play the game, Jango Fett Marquee, I bet he is extremely overpowered early game. I mean, just because... Yeah. I mean, you got to think of all the scoundrels you just get. You could run like Lando and Stormtrooper Han behind him in arena because the lead applies to the scoundrel faction. So
sure. Yeah, no, I think that makes 100% sense. He's probably just an early game, like for people that just started their shards. He's probably the whiz right now, the whiz. But that's our top 10 leaders at rank 1. Not much movement. Palpatine right behind Traya, CLS, and then Bastila, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Mother Talzin, Ray Jedi Training. Rex is on there, but he represents such a small portion of the pie with Asajj Ventress there and Ray that, I mean, that's not even worth talking about. But let's move on to our top 10 squad members at rank 1. And what we have here is, again, something very similar. We see more Chewbacca's on the list. So Chewie is definitely making his way, up the list here for top 10 squad members at rank 1. But I have a very strong feeling in my heart that this list is going to be completely different in about 2 weeks.
We'll see how many people can get their hands on mysterious Revan fella.
It'll be a little bit different. Okay, I mean, even if they don't have Revan, I think that the majority of people, there'll be some people at least the bottom end that did get Revan that are changing some of these bottom end characters. So whether it's Chewie or Emperor Palpatine or Enfys Nest, or CLS, some of those characters will kind of swap out for, I think, some Jedi characters. So I think we'll see Grandmaster Yoda on there. I think we'll see Enfys Nest on there. We may even see Mission and Zalbar on there. Maybe Bastila or Jolie. That'd be kind of interesting. So we'll have to see what that looks like in a couple weeks. But again, not much to talk about with the meta report this week. So that's pretty much a wrap there. But let's move on to our top 5 for this week. And this week we are doing top 5 Territory Wars leader Zetas. Okay, so these are the best Zeta leaderships for Territory Wars. And being that we're about to embark on a new Territory War tomorrow, this is a good time to take a look at this. So let's go ahead and dive in. Our number 5 leader for Territory Wars is Ray Jedi Training. So the leader is called Inspirational Presence, And what are your thoughts on this being the number 5 addition here, Maurice? Like, why is this here?
Well, some guilds use them on defense, some use them on offense. Either way, you still need a meta team to take out Ray, whether it be your Night Sisters or some other team. Offensively, they can, if you have them modded correctly, they have a chance of beating everything. Maybe, with the exception of maybe Treya, they can take out the majority of all your meta TW teams. Versatile lead. You can run Ray with 4 droids if you want to. You can run Ray with BB-8 and 3 other resistance if you want to. As long as you have Ray and BB-8, the supporting cast can be swapped in and out, which makes it extremely valuable. Because that's what you want. You want characters that provide depth and that you can kind of rotate in and out and switch. Put this character here, put this character here, and you can swap them around. Interchangeable type lineups is very good for TW, and Ray's a perfect lead for that.
Right. I mean, she actually has a really involved kit. I mean, this is one of those kits with the wall of text where, when you first read this kit, you thought to yourself, like, how is this going to work? And wasn't sure. I mean, when Ray Jedi Training first came out, we just kind of thought, okay, I mean, this is kind of interesting, but is she really going to be meta? Because it looks like she will be, and the kit makes sense if it all works out correctly. But it isn't until you get the kit for BB-8 involved and all these other things and all these other pieces around her that you see that the ability is fantastic. And yes, it's a great defensive ability, it's a great offensive ability, but overall, it's still one of the best leaders in the game, and definitely one that can take out a lot of meta squads in territory wars. So that's our number 5 leader, Zeta leader for Territory Wars. Moving along to our number 4 leader, Zeta leader for Territory Wars, and that is Emperor Palpatine. So Palps obviously is, or was most recently, the number 1 meta leader until Treya kind of put him on the back burner. But he is still a fantastic leader, and you don't necessarily need to use some of the same characters. So because of the addition of, a lot of people using Emphy's Nest, a lot of people using Sith Trooper, with those Treya squads on defense and offense, you can still create a separate, entirely different Emperor Palpatine team running Palpatine, Vader, and several other Empire characters. So Palpatine's leader, fortunately, benefits both Empire and Sith, and it also is anti lots of the meta teams that are out there. So, I mean, he gives you some different benefits than Treya, giving a term meter on, negative status effects, and also, obviously reducing the potency of your opponents and max health. So he's got a really interesting kit. I mean, why do you think Palpatine's here, Maurice?
Well, if you're in a newer guild, and let's say you're in a guild that's below 100 million, you're more than likely you guys don't have Treya yet. So this is still an excellent option that you can use on defense. It's probably going to be one of your better options still for defense in those type of situations. But for the same reason you mentioned, the Empire, you combine the Empire and the Sith factions, you could build 2 just great teams. And the Palpatine teams are being used more offensively on the higher levels because they are great counters to bounty hunters. They're great counters to the Kira leads we see, the First Order. Just great counters around the board. If you have a very, very good one, you could take out Treya teams with it. But like you said, you could build your meta Treya team, and then you can put the leftovers with Palpatine. They can be Sith or Empire. You've got Palpatine and Vader kind of go hand in hand, as they should. But then you have 2 factions to choose from for the other 3 characters, making them just like Rey, extremely versatile. And you don't really need a specific 5. You can just kind of everybody get Palpatine and Vader, and then just the whole guild can their 3 best Empire Sith characters, just lump them in behind them. So it's a nice versatile lead as well.
Yes, that's our number 4 Zeta leader for Territory Wars. Moving along to our number 3. Who do we have here, Maurice?
This is going to be Bosk. Good old Bosk. A new man on the scene. A man that a lot of us kind of panic to get. So everyone that has Chewie is now semi-prepared to play some sort of Bosk or Bounty Hunter team on defense, use them on offense. Your Bounty Hunters are ready on the fly from this Chewie event, and Bosk just brings an incredible amount of defensive survivability, if you will, for a TW defense. Makes a lot of these Bounty Hunters, the real squishy ones like Greedo, IG-88, Boba Fett, Jango Fett, a lot of the Bounty Hunters are Zam Wessel. They're very, very squishy, and he adds a ton of defense, adds nice protection to them, some, just tenacity, just all sorts of defensive stats to keep them up and to keep them going. And, in the TW environment, Bounty Hunters have a passive unique, just the TW bonus of they get stacking crit damage. I think it's 15%, and they also cleanse themselves on a crit hit. And Bounty Hunters, again, IG-88, Greedo, Boba Fett, Jango Fett, these are high crit chance characters, so they're going to be cleansing themselves. They're going to be doing extra damage, and then they're going to be tougher to kill underneath that Bosk lead. You will need the Zeta. You want the Zeta on the Bosk lead. Just great all around for a very developing faction. I mean, the faction is twice the size it was a month and a half, 2 months ago. So you got lots of options now to put underneath Bosk.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, he's really become a great TW leader, especially behind, especially with the rest of the Scoundrel faction. There's so many Bounty Hunter characters now, so many Scoundrel characters now, that you can really put together some nice defensive teams. And, he also can counter a lot of teams on offense. He's just got, I think he's still probably the best Bounty Hunter leader, the best Scoundrel leader, even with the addition of Jango Fett. And he's definitely on the fence there. It's definitely, close, to say the least. And, we've been running, some.
Wait, J Stat just said Bounty Hunters are my favorite team to use after I Zated Bosk. It does bring a whole new element of fun and just, I don't know, viability for the Bounty Hunters.
Yeah, it's a whole new ball game, and characters like Bosk, they add another dimension to the team. He's the tank that the Scoundrels and Bounty Hunters have always needed, and it's one of those things where we lost the stream again. Okay.
No, your mic just cut out for a random minute there for some reason.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah, it's good now.
All right, but yeah, no. So as far as that goes, I mean, basically we had, Bosk is just a great addition to that team, and he makes the Scoundrels and the Bounty Hunters just a whole lot better overall, and he becomes a staple character that you can use even after, the Chewie event. He's somebody you can use for territory wars, somebody that can use for a lot of areas of the game. And I think that in the future, even though we've gotten the majority of the bounty hunters that we're going to get, that we'll get something, something else, whether it be another bounty hunter in the future, maybe a different version of Boba Fett, or, I think we'll get something else. And I think that it'll come in the form of maybe this new Mandalorian show that comes out at some point down the road by, what's his name? Who's the director? Jon Favreau. So Jon Favreau is going to be directing that. So we'll have to, keep our eyes peeled for that. And remember, there's also a new Resistance show coming out, and that should be pretty soon. So whenever that drops, we'll probably get some correspondence in the game from that as well. But that's our number 3 Zeta leader in Territory Wars. Moving along to our number 2 Zeta leader in Territory Wars, we have Kylo Ren Unmasked. So it should go without saying that this is one of the more staple teams that you see in Territory Wars, period. He is a fantastic leader and honestly has one of the best on-paper leaders in the game. I feel if the First Order faction itself had some better characters around him, they'd probably be one of the best teams in the game because of this leader ability. But, 40, anytime you're adding 40% crit damage and 30 speed to your team, you're doing a lot. You're getting a lot of bonuses. I mean, this is something we could only have dreamed of 2 years ago when we were looking at leaders like Boba Fett being the best leader in the game. Now, you have a character that gives 40% crit damage, 30 speed, and gives turn meter on a critical hit to his allies. I mean, it's a tremendously amazing leader ability, and I think that when we eventually do, because we will, there's another movie coming, when we eventually do get some more First Order characters, I think that this leader ability will be a lot more used than it is right now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you touched on pretty much everything. Just all sorts of turn meter gain, health and protection, and again, the First Order faction has a TW specific bonus to even make them even better. Like you said, we're one Hux, one Snoke, one generic First Order minion away from having a really, really top tier team. You can beat about anything with this team if you use them offensively, including Traya. You just have to have the mods and the character set up right. So just in a faction you're going to want to have. You need them for BB-8. They have tons of ships. What 1, 2, 3, 4? I think 6 of the characters are pilots in the ships. So this is a faction that's going to benefit you in all areas of the game. They do have a little bit of raid viability. It's not the best team for any situation, but you can use them. I mean, you can take a huge chunk out of P2 in the tank raid. You can do some decent damage in the Sith raid, maybe about 1 million to 2 million-ish, depending on how good your First Order are in all phases of the raid. So they do have all around use. TW specifically.
Okay. That's our number 2 leader for Territory Wars. Moving along to our number 1, and this should be a no-brainer. Darth Traya. So,
yeah.
Enough said. Let's move on to our honorable mention. No, I'm just kidding. No, but honestly, Darth Traya is the best leader in the game right now. I mean, that is possibly about to change with the addition of Revan here. But, I mean, her kit is so OP that it is ridiculous. I mean, she basically, you're losing health while she's on the board. She gives health to her own squad. I mean, she's just basically dominating out there. And, it's very difficult to think of a better defensive leader than Darth Traya right now. I mean, what are your thoughts about the Traya lead, and I mean, why do you think that she's the best?
I mean, if you guys do put her on defense, she's very difficult to go against because you can't use a team that counters. You can't use a team that attacks on a turn, like using assists, and you can't use a team that buffs themselves. All these things all have consequences when you face a Traya lead. Not to mention she has 40% crit avoidance, so it makes it extremely difficult for you to use teams like your rebels, your wigs, your bigs. You really have to stack a ton of crit chance or just a ton of offense on your characters to make them effective. She just affects everything. Like, she affects how you mod your characters, and that says a lot when you have to, build a team specifically to beat Traya. Your Magma Trooper teams, your Nest First Order teams, your whatever you use to beat them. Thrawn is popular, of course, and then all sorts of ways to beat her, but you have to build a team in your roster, have them modded and ready to go every TW for Traya, right? So that's a statement right there in itself. So we just saw the meta report. She's the best leader in the game. She's the best character in the game. Yeah. So she's naturally number 1 here.
Right. And I see a lot of clamoring about the Zeta Finn leader. Listen, I have a video about Zeta Finn leader and how you could beat a Traya lead with the 3 characters with Zeta Finn. But I mean, it's again, it could have very well made the list. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Zeta Finn leader is fantastic, and I'm sure Maurice was thinking about it because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that he sleeps at night with a picture of Finn next to his bed. But no, it's one of those things where I think that there are some other leaders that are a little bit ahead of the curve because they just are better on defense. And, that's kind of where we're looking at, because although these other teams do work really well on offense, for defense, there's definitely a lot of benefit there. So let's go on to our honorable mention for this week. And we have Mother Talzin. So Mother Talzin provides a lot of value, especially, I mean, now definitely on defense, especially with the rework for zombie, but also on offense. So on offense, you could take out almost any team with a Mother Talzin led Night Sister team. Because they are the counter to so many different meta teams. You can beat a Mother Talzin. You can beat another zombie team. You could beat a Treya team. You could beat a Rey Jedi training team. I mean, really, everybody saves the Mother Talzin and Night Sister teams, for offense because there is such an ability to counter that you want to save them just in case you get stuck somewhere and you still have a Night Sister team in your pocket to kind of pull them out and get you to, let's say, another phase or take down another wall in territory war. So it's good to save those Night Sister teams for offense because of that reason, but can do a very good job on defense as well. And if you get surprised with the last wall of having a whole bunch of Night Sister teams there at the end, it can be very troublesome. Yeah, I'm here. So if you get surprised with a whole bunch of Night Sister teams at the end, it can get very suspect.
Well, I mean, you could slot in Asajj or Mother Talzin here. Asajj is probably going to be your better option defensively, but I put Asajj on all these lists because I'm such a homer. So I went with Talzin this time. But like Revan said, you can pretty much every team except maybe a Bastila team. Talzin makes pretty quick work of. Maybe a Treya team, but it's very good Night Sister teams can take out Treya as well. Just a great character. And I'll tell you what, this Night Sister zombie rework, while it might have infuriated those that like to use the paper zombie, it makes the Night Sisters way better. That Night Sister zombie rework was fantastic for the faction. Like, you can't use the stack Asajj with the paper zombie, they called it, anymore. But what you can do now is, I mean, all your Night Sisters, you get 2 basically free revives that you don't need to use DACA for. You basically have to kill the Night Sisters twice before you even, great faction. They made them so OP, and then everything else caught up and passed them, and the rework of one character has now brought them back, especially in TW. So,
absolutely,
get your Night Sisters.
Get your Night Sisters. You heard it from Maurice first. So, we're gonna go back to the arena here. We're gonna go back to looking at Maurice, checking his cell phone, just doing his thing, and we're gonna do a little bit more gameplay here. What we're gonna also do is the Q&A segment here of the stream. So if any of you guys have any questions or topics you'd like to discuss, please bring those up now, and we will talk about them. If you just like Maurice's hair and you want to comment on that, that's fine as well. But in general, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, now's the time.
Do we have lots of questions tonight?
Okay.
First one comes from One Strongman asks, do you guys think we will get double drops?
Yes.
I would think so. Traditionally, doesn't mean that they're going to do it, but the first time an event comes around, there generally is some sort of double drop for the characters involved, and this is the first time. I would hope so, especially with the outrage from the community. I would hope they do at least a double drop, but if I think it's slotted to release pretty soon, so the time for double drops is now.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take that back. I don't think it's happening. Although it's kind of disappointing, and yes, I mean, of course, it would be nice to do that. I don't think we're getting double drops, and that's because I just think that there have been a lot of people that have spent money already, assuming that there aren't going to be double drops, and I think that they would be afraid of the backlash from people that already invested, and they're probably just not going to do it. That's just my opinion. I think that they'll probably hold off on that, and we'll probably get the event over here without double drops, because again, it's just one of those things where I think that if they were going to do double drops, they would have done it already, just like you said.
Or at least announced it. Yeah, you could be right. I don't know, but I hope so, because I mean I would benefit from them for sure. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, it should happen. Like, you know, I mean, like maybe the day the event drops, they do double drops, and then this way people that are at, like, you know, they're the people that aren't going to be able to get them the first day, but they're going to get them, let's say, the last day of the event, they'll benefit tremendously from that, right? But you know, again, I feel like it's one of those things where they would have announced it with the release of the event details. But that's just my thoughts. Next question.
Yeah. I was just reading some of the stuff on YouTube here. Okay, next question, and it's a bunch of them. Stonewall, Adam M, a couple other people have asked, you know, basically if we're going to be getting Revan, will we be spending money? What's our farming plan? We kind of went over that earlier in the stream. Ramon will definitely be getting Revan. He's almost done. I've got a good shot. Did I spend money to get him? Yes. I did have to spend a little money. I bought a vault and bought some of those 699 packs. Got super lucky with them. By no means should you expect to get super lucky with them, but I was right on the verge. I'd been farming these characters with the 25 crystal refreshes long before Revan was even announced. Like, as soon as Zalbar hit, I was going after him. I love Zalbar. So I was a little bit ahead of the game in terms of having them. So, you know, a small investment, well, all things considered in this game, a small investment kind of put me over the edge, over the hump. And so, yes, I did spend a little bit of money. I think we're both, hopefully we'll both have them. So we'll be a little savvy on what we're talking about here in the future. So,
yeah, you know, we'll have them on our test accounts too, so we'll be able to play around with you for you guys and show you some different team compositions. So I'm hoping that after the event drops, you know, assuming it still drops on the 18th, that by the next stream, you know, we'll have Revan, you know, in our inventory and be able to do some gameplay testing for you guys, kind of show you guys what he looks like, even if you know, we don't necessarily have him up to snuff yet in the game. So if I don't necessarily have the gear yet to get him to gear 12, you know, so if I'm still gearing him up, I'll be able to showcase, you know, what he looks like or can be in the test account. I got
the next.
6K for what I need for Revan, which seems high. I got 6K for what I would need for Revan, which seems to be high, but I don't know, honestly. 6K? That's definitely not possible.
No, that's. I mean, not in America. You're not in U.S. currency.
No.
That's a little high.
No, that seems a little bit high. I think in American currency, you know, even if you did nothing, like let's say you didn't buy the $10 packs that gave you, you know, 4 stars. Let's say you didn't buy any shards of the characters whatsoever, and you just started from scratch with absolutely nothing. I think that you're probably talking at no more than $500.
Yeah. Yes. That's at a very, very, very high.
That's with a cap.
That's if you want to like refresh the nodes for 800 crystals and just refresh your energy all the way up to like 1600. You know, that's going to be high.
I think at most, yeah. If you just buy those $6.99 packs, you're looking at most maybe $400.
Yeah. All right. Well, and again, if you guys wait for 4 months, he's technically free, and I think that was a very good move. They posted what the event is tuned for, because me, like, even if I get the shards, if I had to take these characters up to gear 11 or 12 like the 2 event, there's no way I could get it. I mean, no way. I mean, these characters are new. While I have been working on Zalbar Mission, I still have, you know, Jolie, T3 are basically untouched. They're like gear 7, gear 8. You know, so that would be extremely expensive adventure getting those guys up to gear 12, and I wouldn't be able to do it. So it was good that they announced that it was tuned for gear 9, I believe is what the post said. But a lot of questions here. Going back to the questions, a lot of the questions kind of revolve around when will the Game Changers release the kit. when will we have information on the kit? And that question is a good one because right now there's nothing. There's no kit. Like we know honestly,
your guess
pretty much about as much as you guys do in terms of Revan.
Your guess is as good as ours.
Yeah. So, but I guarantee, as soon as we get the green light, there's just going to be a flood of Revan stuff everywhere that you guys can get your hands on, and really see what the character does. This is an interesting strategy too, not releasing the kit, because I'd imagine there's a sector of people that haven't invested because they don't want to invest the money, then the character sucks, which I don't think he's going to suck, but I mean still they want to see what they're getting for their investment. So this is an interesting move.
Believe me,
I'm not going to claim to know anything about the behavior and psychology behind in-app purchases. I have no idea. So it's interesting.
Believe me, they will release the kit as soon as they can. So I'm sure that as soon as we get the word and it's okay to kind of discuss that, we'll have information about it, and the internet will be flooded with Revan kit data, probably all at the same exact instant.
Yeah.
You'll probably have about 27 videos released at the same exact time about Revan's kit. So just be prepared for that. But listen, whenever Revan does drop, he has to be like meta defining, right? So I'm sure that whatever they're doing with the character, they're going to make sure that he's tuned to be, not just a counter to Traya, but to trump Traya. Right, because that's kind of what they're looking for here. I think I don't think that he's meant to just kind of be another option instead of Traya. I think it's kind of meant to be that you're going to have to use your Traya and possibly try to change around some of the teams a little bit to even be able to win. So that's just my opinion, but we'll see. I think overall, the character is going to be fantastic. No matter what, I'll be excited about it because I mean, listen, I've been wanting Revan in this game for a couple of years now, and he's definitely one of the characters that I was looking for, the second this game dropped, and I thought to myself, like, man, I hope they release some version of Revan in this game. So now we're at that point. So, we're getting one version of him. I think that we'll get more in the future. I think we're definitely going to get a Darth Revan at some point down the road as well. So whenever that happens, we'll get possibly some different synergies, some different characters. Maybe that's when they'll release Malik. Maybe they'll release Vitiate too, the Sith Emperor. There's a lot of ways they can go, so we'll have to wait and see. But it is exciting, an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the character has to offer.
Abner Dune.
Abner,
what's up, man?
What's
been
going,
a while.
What's going on, Abner?
It's been a while.
I think he's back for Revan. Abner,
Yeah.
Abner just came out of retirement just for Revan. He's like, Revan? What? I think I hear Darktron coming. I think
DSP, has good old Maurice read my question? No. Please type it again. I'm terrible about missing DSP's questions every week. Sorry, man. I'm going back looking now. But wow, look. Let's go to the next one. Adam M asks, will there be a Sith version of Revan in February?
No, not that soon. I mean, maybe. I think there'll be a Sith version of Revan eventually. I think that they're definitely going to have a Sith version. Listen, I'll tell you straight up. Okay, I'm not gonna. I'm not really supposed to talk about this stuff. Okay, but Revan has been a kit that they've been talking about behind the scenes for years. Okay, I mean he was in the we used to have a special place where we could go look at kits for upcoming characters, and Revan was somebody that was always on the table. Okay, and he had I can't disclose any specifics as to like what his kit was or what his name was there, but they had this guy that was both a light side and a dark side character that had the most ridiculous leader ability for both Jedi and Sith, and it was clear that they were trying to create a Revan who was going to be both Jedi and Sith, light side and dark side at some point, like somebody who might be able to be both light side and dark side for both territory battles, territory wars, light side battles, dark side battles. Like that was, I think, the original intention. But it ultimately, I mean, you have to look at it from a business standpoint, and it makes more sense to drop multiple versions of Revan than just to drop one. So that's just kind of how it is, and that's I'm talking back about maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. That was kind of the where the character was originally planned to be. But one thing you have to realize about the mobile game industry is, when they're doing releases, kind of like when, let's say, Battlefront comes out with a release for their game, it's a little bit more on the fly. Okay, so everything in the mobile game world is kind of fluid up until the last moment. So, they were going to release Embo like last year, and literally Embo got pulled like the day before he was supposed to be released, and he just got shelved and he got put on the back burner until you saw him earlier this year. So Embo was going to come out a while ago, and they just kind of put him on the burner. We didn't know he was coming. We didn't know if he was ever coming. He just kind of became like Embo was out of the cards, guys, and that's it. We stopped talking about Embo. And then all of you Embo...
Yeah, he was in that, there was like one of those Japanese packs. He was accidentally listed in the character shards you get out of that pack. You remember that? There was like a pack, some little random pack that was available a year plus ago in Japan, and there's some of the Asian markets, and it listed Embo as a character you could get from the pack. And I'm not sure that he was actually in the pack, but I remember seeing those posts. So he has been around. He's been in the game. I mean, ever since they came out with those the ninth table hard nodes that were next to impossible to do at the time. He was the boss. I guess it was that Shore Trooper, the Baze node, one of those nodes. He was tough. He's in there with all those bruisers and all the cartel minions. That was a hard level,
So, yeah. And I mean, it's there's lots of times that things are like on the fence, like about to come out, and then they just decide, okay, well, something else happens, or another character comes up, or another priority comes up from the studio. Like, they could be planning to release Jedi Luke next month, and then if the studio says no, let's say Lucasfilm reaches out and says no, Resistance is coming out next month, and we need you to work on 4 characters for the new show Resistance, or the new live-action Star Wars show, or the new movie that's coming out, or whatever they want to come up with, a new cartoon, whatever. If they decide that there's going to be another priority that takes precedence over Jedi Luke, then Jedi Luke gets pushed to the back burner, because Lucasfilm ultimately decides what happens first and foremost. That's the kind of arrangement that they have. So it's one of those things where everything is very much so like in flux, and up until the point where that's why we have these embargo times when we all release videos at the same time. Is because, I mean, we have to wait until that day, and we could possibly get a message the night before a video is about to drop saying, hey guys, we're not okay to drop this video tomorrow, so just want to let you know. And we'll have to hold off and wait until they give us the go-ahead to do that. And that could be because of something small. I mean, they could just want to change the color of the character's gloves, or they maybe the text on an ability isn't reading correctly, or maybe they just they didn't get approval on the way the character looks from Lucasfilm, and they end up having to wait, and then we'll get word like, hey guys, hold off on releasing the character, and then we'll just kind of wait until they say it's okay for us to do that, and then it's one of those things where we got to make sure that we're all on the same page, because they want to release the characters a certain way, and I'm glad to just be a part of it. To get access to some of these characters in advance and be able to test some of the characters, and kind of get my own opinions about how good the characters can be, and formulate what different types of squads we can use them in. So it's exciting stuff. Anyway, I've been rambling about this for a while now, but yes, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and you kind of answered DSP's question too. So you think we're getting light side, dark side, then the real Revan?
Yes, I think we will eventually get that stuff. Absolutely.
All right, let's see here. Stephen Burge asks, I already have Bastila Zeta. of the remaining KOTOR characters, which Zetas would you say benefits this team more for the event? Hopefully, if it's tuned for Gear 9, I'm not sure you really need another Zeta on the team. If you had to do one, I would probably say Zalbar, because he's going to benefit both
him and Mission
himself and Mission with regenerating protection, based on the amount of dots on the other team. So that's a good Zeta, as is. But if you have Bastila Zeta, I mean that's going to benefit Jolie. So at least Jolie, right? I don't think that wouldn't affect Mission, Zalbar, or any of those other characters. But you do have two characters that will benefit from the maximum protection of tenacity. So I wouldn't say to anyone until you get in the event. If you can't beat the event, then maybe you consider doing another one. You shouldn't need a second Zeta. You might not even need Basilis. Who knows? We'll see when it comes out next week. But
no, if you're going to do it, I would say the main Zeta would be either Zalbar or Jolie Bindo, because again, bear in mind that in the hero's journeys, you typically end up getting to use these characters together. So there's a chance Revan may be a character in the events, and if he's a Jedi with a Jedi tag, then you'll be able to revive Revan and Bastila with Jolie. So that's almost like a like a guaranteed victory if you can bring Revan back to life if he dies for any reason. So I'd say either one of those would be the best way to go. But if you're that close to the point where you don't have Zetas on either one and you want to kind of see which one you should work on, then I would wait to see the event itself and just kind of see somebody like me go through it on the stream first, or somebody else go through it on their account, or kind of get some tips from other people that have already completed the event, and then they'll be able to give you a better idea of what Zeta you should do, because you'll get to see what options are available. But Bastila should be enough, as long as you have the characters geared high enough.
Yeah, gears, Zetas, Omegas, it doesn't matter. Just use what you have and try it. If you can't beat it, then maybe put on an Omega. Try it again. You can't beat it, maybe put on an extra Carboni. Then try it again and try it again.
Right.
Just over and over. Don't if you have no intention of using these characters after you get Revan, you really don't want to overinvest. Like you probably, if you really like the Jedi, then yes, you probably want Jolie and Bastila, but you don't necessarily need the other three characters. So don't go nuts on them and then just have them sit in the bench like your vets have been doing since you got Rey. So.
Right. I mean, like for me, for example, I have a Zeta on Bastila and Jolie, and I want to put a Zeta on Mission Vow and Zalbar, but I showed you I have 3 Zetas left, and I want to save those 3 Zetas for Revan himself. So I'm not going to be putting a Zeta on Zalbar or Mission Vow unless I absolutely have no choice to do it to complete the event. So I will go through the event first with what I have here, and hopefully that's enough. And if for any reason I get stuck and I can't beat the event, then I'll take a look at first trying to slap maybe some more gear on them. And if that doesn't work, then I'll resort to the last case scenario, which would be sticking another Zeta on them and beating it. But I think that with this team I have here, having 2 Gear 12 characters and a Gear 10 Zalbar, I should be okay.
Yeah, Nathaniel Morgan said you could probably auto it. That's probably true. If it's 2 for Gear 9, you've got all 3 pieces on Jolie and Bastila. You're ready to go. You're ready for some Jedi, huh?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to handle. I think I'll be able to do it. I think I'm pretty prepped for this. So
yes, all sorts of stuff here. Blah blah blah. Bastila is great. T3 is good for droid teams. That's all these characters are great, guys. Let's see what else. We got a few more questions. Let's see. Okay, these are kind of lumped together here, so we can do them at the same time. One strong man and Josue basically asks, do you think CG, they were doing a resource drain with Chewie prior to Revan being released?
Yes. I mean, I think that we're in a situation where I definitely just put a whole bunch of gear into some of these bounty hunter characters. I mean, let's take a look at my bounty hunters here. And I mean, I Gear 12 my my freaking Dengar. Okay, my Dengar is gear 12. I would never have gear 12 my Dengar if I didn't think that it would help me get Chewbacca. Okay, I did that. Okay, and I got my Cad Bane to gear 11. I mean, IG-88, I already had a gear 11. I'm a droid guy. So, I mean, I was going to have IG. I'm going to have IG-8 at gear 12 whenever they rework the droids. So, I mean, that's happening. I'll probably get IG-88 to gear 12 soon. But you know, I put a lot of gear into Greedo, Cad Bane, Dengar. I mean, Boba Fett, I already had the pieces available, and Boba Fett's a great character. I mean, I was going to have him. You know, he's probably a character that I would have a gear 12 anyway because I have his ship. So I benefit there, but I would have never done Dengar. Dengar was a little bit easier to get to gear 12 than CAD and IG-88, so I just did Dengar because I had the pieces. But I would have loved to have saved those pieces to use them for Revan. But, you know, now I'm at a point where I use a lot of gear for them. I'm not super disappointed because, I mean, listen, my bounty hunters are really good now. I mean, it's a lot easier to beat those bounty hunter missions in territory battles now. And, you know, again, when the event comes back around, I'm already this close to being able to beat it. So, I mean, I'll probably just need to add a couple more pieces like Jango Fett, Embo, and Bosk. I'll probably have them geared up because I like these characters. I actually like these three down here. So I'll actually be gearing these up, and I'll have a pretty decent squad. So I'll probably use, let's say, Jango, Embo, Bosk, Boba Fett, and Dengar as my 5, or maybe sub in Cad Bane somewhere. We'll see. You know, we'll see what happens. But overall, yes, I do think that there was definitely, you know, a little bit of a resource sink into the bounty hunters for Chewbacca. But listen, Chewbacca is a great character. Okay, you can beat a trade team with a Chewbacca right now, and you know, he's a great value for territory wars, territory battles. You know, don't let the fact that you know, a better character is coming overshadow the value that you get with Chewbacca as well. So Chewbacca is still a great character, and you're not, you know, you didn't make a bad decision going for Chewbacca. It's just that sometimes, you know, other shiny things pop up right away, and, you know, you get caught in a situation where you don't necessarily have the resources to do that. But, you know, either way, you know, for those that are going to be spending the money to get the characters to 7 stars, they're probably going to be spending the money to farm some gear and get Revan there, or get the characters that they're getting the 7 stars, at least to gear 9, to get Revan done. One benefit that we can look at here is over the course of time now, these characters have become a lot easier to gear up. Getting characters to gear 9 and gear 10 now is not as hard as it was in the past. You know, I felt like getting Zalbar to gear 10 was pretty easy. I already had most of the pieces. It was just getting, you know, some extra tidbits here and there. Getting T3 to gear 9 was pretty simple. Getting Jolie and Bastila done was pretty easy. So, I mean, getting these characters geared up now is not like it used to be. I mean, they started making it easier when they released characters like, remember Palpatine, when Palpatine came out? He had like just all those blue gear pieces. So, I mean, they started changing the model and making it more about attaining the stars and, you know, spending money. Because there's so many ways they can make money now. I mean, it's not just, you know, gear. I mean, they make money off mods. They make money off, you know, the gear. They make money off the shards. So there's a lot of different ways for them to financially gain from you leveling these characters up. And now you can slice mods. So there's even another component that it's added to it as well that you have to farm. So it's just one of those things where, yeah, even though you do need to invest in gear, the characters are a lot easier to gear now, and some of that gear that was really hard to get, like Carbantes and all that stuff, are a little bit more plentiful. Yeah, GK had 450 Carbantes to get GK done. That doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't happen anymore. That's
no, Bastila and Nest were incredibly easy to gear. Like, arguably 2 of the easiest characters in the entire game to gear, and those are 2 meta characters. We saw them both on the meta report. You know, I mean, those characters are super simple,
yeah,
to gear. So,
yeah, I agree.
Let's see here. We got a couple more. We got Jay Swizzy Swole. Will there be a new guild character guild? Excuse me. Will there be a new guild store character soon?
A new guild.
You know, I don't. It was odd how they put Young Han in one and didn't add anything else to it. Like Young Han has his own node, like General Stark's,
right?
Which could lead you to believe that in the event that we have maybe a new TB, he could be a required character of some sort. It's odd how they put him in there by himself, without even putting even the Han characters. Maybe throwing a Lando or even a ship in there.
And nobody rotates with him either. It's just him every time. That's kind of weird.
On his own.
Yes, I think eventually we will get somebody here. I think it'll be one of these new characters. So I think that either Embo or Aura Singh maybe, or possibly. Possibly Jango Fett may pop in here. I don't think so.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so. I think that those characters are probably, especially Jango Fett, I think is going hard node. I think Embo, you're probably looking at hard node. If anybody were to pop in here, it would probably be Aura Singh. And that's just because I know that they do it based upon desire, right? Like, so, because nobody cares about First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot, he's here for free. Gamorrean Guard is in the guild store. But if you want, Darth Nihilus, you're not getting him here. So that's how it is. But yeah, I mean, I think that the more desirable characters will probably go into hard nodes. So Jango Fett will probably be like a super duper hard node, and they'll probably also get ship nodes as well, like they have been. So.
A super duper hard node.
Yeah, super duper. They'll probably have a super duper hard node. And eventually, like when we're done with all these hard nodes, there'll be like a third tier, like right over here, like right next to hard earned shards. It'll just be like super duper hard, and it'll be like you have to beat a battle that's like you need to have like Gear 13 characters to do. Speaking of which, do you think we'll ever get Gear 13? Do you think that'll happen, or do you think Gear 12?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know, because it says, like, when you get to Gear 12, I mean, every time in the past, it said that there was another gear tier. Like, but when you get to Gear 12, it says that the next gear tier is Gear 12.
I would be shocked. Like, every character in the game now has 5 pieces to get to Gear 13. When they do, I mean, perhaps they need to implement it and program it into the game.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, I mean, like when the top tier for gear was Gear 11, it still said Gear 12. Like, it didn't say Gear 11.
I know. 11. I know what you're saying. I'm looking at it now.
So it's like now this one, for some reason, it just says Gear 12, and it's at the gold level, which gold, in this game typically tends to represent the top tier of everything. I think that we go kind of, I mean, I've said this in the past, because the mod situation runs based upon color, kind of like the gear situation does. I think it's going to follow suit with the mods. So I think that the highest level of gear at the end of it all is going to be Gear 15. I think that the highest level of gear will be Gear 15, kind of like level 15 for the mods. So I think once you hit Gear 12, you get to gold. Like when you get to level 12 with the mods, I think that, it follows the same color structure as the mods. So, when you get to that, and then eventually, we are like so overdue. She's, Earl Astaris mentioned it here. We are so overdue for a level cap increase that is crazy. I mean, we're getting a level cap increase soon. It's going to happen.
Well, I think when we finally get this 6th piece for Gear 13, it will be like a situation like, you can see the new piece, you can own the new piece, but you cannot equip the new piece until you get to level 88, 89, 90, that sort of way. That way they could implement Gear 13, but it's going to take a long time to level up from 85 to 90, whatever the level cap is.
We haven't had a level cap increase in so long that I forgot. Like, I forget that they like even exist. Like, what I'm saying? Like, I like when the level cap increase happens again, it's going to be crazy. I mean, we'll start, the cool part about it is when you do level up, you'll get those bonuses again, like bonus, it'll increase the max amount of canteen energy that you get. It'll increase the max amount of daily energy that you get. It'll increase the you'll get bonus energy when you clear the events, and we'll probably get new nodes. So I think that things like Omegas will become more of a staple in those in those ability mats challenges. I think we'll get Omegas pretty much like we're getting purple mats right now, and then I think that we may occasionally get Zetas in there as well. But that's to be seen. We'll see.
All right, this one comes from Drew Dog. What's up, man? Do you guys agree that HK should have synergy with Revan? Do you think that HK will have some sort of synergy with Revan?
Do I think it's going to happen? No. Do I think he should? Yes. But I think that what's going to end up happening is this Revan is going to be mainly geared towards being a Jedi, and he'll probably have Jedi synergies. And I think that the next Revan that comes in this game, I think that the Sith Revan will have the synergy with HK-47. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe they add an Old Republic tag to HK-47, which should happen. Maybe they'll do that when they, rework some of these characters. And then if HK-47 gets an Old Republic tag, maybe then at that point, because I'm assuming Revan will have some sort of Old Republic synergy, that HK-47 and Revan will have a synergy like that. But I think that when the Darth Revan comes out, or the evil or the dark side Revan, I think that he will have actually verbiage in his ability, kind of like Wedge Antilles has with Biggs Darklighter, and kind of like Anakin has with Ahsoka, that when one of them is present, the other one gains these bonuses, and I think things like that. I think they're that close. They're that much of a team that will happen.
Well, he might not have a direct synergy like Wedge and Biggs and Mission Zalbar, but perhaps he gets the Old Republic tag, and perhaps one of these Revans has some sort of Old Republic, or even HK could get maybe a slight rework and have his leadership applied to the whole faction. So that would be cool, because HK is a great leader, but his kit is awful. He is not a good character. It's not good at all. So, maybe somebody just said it in the chat here. General Grievous rework and Droid Separatist soon. Maybe HK gets a little love in that. Maybe they update his tag then. Hopefully, it would be silly to include all these new Old Republic characters into the game and not have HK at least have some sort of synergy with them. But let's see, we got a couple more here. Panda asks,
have you been watching what's going on my screen here? This is bananas. I just got Romful stomped. I mean, it was like, I don't know what happened, but Nihilus got annihilated like 2 times in a row. It's like almost like there was no cooldown in between. Like he just literally just annihilated. He annihilated my Nihilus and then annihilated my Sith Trooper, like literally simultaneously. So I don't know what happened there, but that was, I'm doing that again.
Panda asks, why is your Jolie Bendo better geared than meta characters? Panda's trolling you a little bit here.
That's because I have a little bit of a thing for Jolie Bendo. I think that Jolie Bendo's awesome. Panda doesn't know, because Panda just found out that in Star Wars they use lightsabers, like yesterday.
This is a good one. This is a good question from Jay Solo. How long do you think until the Ebon Hawk is released? I personally think it's definitely coming. Like this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get to Starforge also.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see. Hopefully they don't come out with it as a marquee ship in a month, and then you need Revan to pilot it or something. That would be pretty awful. But I would be shocked if that ship didn't make its way into the game at some point. Because there's a lot of characters that that could potentially be pilots for that ship too. Yeah.
Yes.
That could be another little 3-banger, like the First Order shuttle and the Phoenix ships. you know, that's one that could possibly take multiple pilots. So, and then we had another one. We had one more. I thought it just came in. No, I just made that up. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean the Evan Hawk.
Romple stomped. Yeah, people want to know what Romple stomp means.
You know, it's just a thing that people say sometimes when you talk about your team getting annihilated or destroyed. Romple stomped, you know, getting sacked, getting you know.
These are things you hear on a daily basis in Long Island.
Yeah, getting sacked, you know, getting Romple stomped. I don't even know where that comes from. I just know I have heard it before. You know, there's certain things in life that you just say because you've heard it before. That's one of those things. At least for me, anyway. You know, I didn't make it up. I promise you.
All right, yeah, that's all the questions. If I missed some, guys, DSP, we got yours in tonight.
We got DSP's
took a couple tries.
Okay. I just want to.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sack this team now myself. I'm gonna raffle stomp them. So let me just do this real quick. But if you guys are mollywopped, yes, it's just like getting raffle stomps, getting mollywopped. Absolutely, a triple mollywop. For those of you that are aware of the Urban Blaster and his videos. So, yeah. I think that we covered a lot of ground today, a lot of interesting stuff. If anybody has any more topics or questions, type them into the chat now before I finish this match. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up. But definitely glad everybody was able to hang out with us. Rumple foreskin. Huh? Okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right. So yeah, no, we had a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today. We had a lot of ups and downs, people happy, people disappointed, but we will find out more over the coming days about Revan and what's going on with the event. When the event does go live, hopefully I'll have all the shards prepared to do a 3 a.m. unboxing for you guys of the character so we can do some live gameplay and I can kind of showcase you know, what the character looks like in actual arena gameplay. We'll see how much gear I have to gear him up, but I will definitely stream my event, and you guys will, you know, get to see how hard it is or how easy it is, and you know, we'll go through that there. But definitely check out the stream next week. You know, we'll be back probably with Revan on my test account, so we'll do some testing there, and you guys can, you know, put in your requests for different team compositions you want to see. You know, get that together. If there's any videos you guys would like to see me make, you know, you can always send a request to me on Discord, and that brings me to you know, coming to my Discord. In the description of this live stream is a link to the Discord channel, my Discord channel. So if you want to get up-to-date notifications, or you want to be part of the Ramon Azab community, definitely join the Discord and come chat with me there. You can ask me questions there. And also check out Operation Metaverse. I don't have them in the description for this video, but next week on the stream, I definitely will make sure that I put a link to Operation Metaverse's channel and their Discord here too, so you guys can go check them out. That's with my buddy here, good old Maurice and Team Money. They do a weekly live stream on Tuesday nights, which you guys should check out. Really interesting stuff. They always release a new video every week in concordance with the live show, and you see the video first on the live show, and then it goes live afterwards. So they have a really cool community there, and you know, Maurice and Team Money put a lot of time into that, so you should definitely check that out. They do a great job. And I will have a couple other videos this week coming out. I have you know, some more Revan stuff coming, and as soon as the event goes live, get ready for a live show, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream as much as me and Maurice did. It was a pleasure. Always have fun with you guys, and you know, we look forward to, you know, seeing you guys next week. But may the force be with you, and we will see you guys on the next one. Good night, guys.